let's talk about practical accuracy. So I just did a post. I did at the end of my session, right? I shot just under 100 rounds of practical accuracy. I did it all from 20 yards. And then I shot about 180 rounds of doubles with the new pistols from 20. So in my opinion, practical accuracy in doubles is, if I had 100 rounds to train, 60 of those rounds are going to one of those two drills. Like that's how important I think they are.
I totally agree. And from a training perspective, like so for dudes who don't know, doubles is basically this is the drill: point the gun at aim point, shoot the gun twice fast, experience, understand, feel what happens. Repeat, improve your technique, visual focus, grip technique, all that stuff. Learn how to control your gun. That's so important because that's like 90% of shooting. If you could separately train transitioning the gun or drawing the gun, so basically getting the gun to the target, whether you have to move or transition it or reload it, whatever the fuck you got to do. But once the gun's there, the shooting part, it's doubles drill for the most part.
Yeah, I agree. Like, and in terms of, like, I like practical accuracy with doubles, right? I think doubles is the emphasis to learn how to fix fundamental skills, like foundational skills with the pistol. Doubles is going to get you there much, much faster. And then understanding doubles, step one. Understanding practical accuracy for tactical shooters, step two. And then learning how to blend them, right? Because, so Ben, you wrote practical accuracy, you came up with that drill. So from your mouth, like, conceptualizing, hey, it's reactive shooting, reacting to every single sight picture and learning how to react faster. Like, how do you explain practical accuracy to people?
Well, the way I package it is like, when you're shooting quickly, you have a desire to go fast and be accurate. Practical accuracy is a good simulation for what's going to happen. So if you have guys in any, like, if they're trying to shoot a shot they consider difficult, so they're going to swing the gun, put the sight on the target, and then they see the sight flash where they want to hit, and then boom, they whack the trigger, right? That's what guys do because they have a desire to go fast. All right. The most common problem is they're going to dive down into the gun. They'll push the gun down, but there could be other things that are wrong too. But the whole idea with practical accuracy is to create that circumstance where you're shooting fast and you're kind of influencing the gun, pushing the gun around as you're doing it. So you create that circumstance and isolate it so you can work through it and improve rather than just, keep having problems. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. So that's where I think too, a lot of guys have a problem with practical accuracy, even with a long drawn out explanation of like, hey, we're reacting to every single sight picture. When you see it, you have to press the trigger. The time is set by you, right? And then balancing it with, are you over aiming? Are you over confirming? If your group looks like a fist at 12 or 15 yards, the only critique is, hey, you got to speed up a little bit, react sooner, see faster kind of thing. A lot of guys struggle with that.
The hard part for the drill is you need the right amount of push. And guys want to focus on specific metrics rather than giving themselves the push. So here's a good example for you. When you're shooting your Glock, like, the gun, you work at a different pace. The trigger's heavier. It's a longer throw. The gun is lighter. So you're going to shoot that gun a different pace than your new CZs.
100%.
Right?
Yeah.
So what dudes have a hard time with is when they're shooting a CZ, it's like, no, you still push right to the limit, right to where you start creating issues, where you start influencing the gun. It's just when you have a easier to shoot gun, you need to go faster and you need to be further away in order to create the same problems. And what guys like to do is get a better gun and then shoot the same pace as the other gun and then think that they're better.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yes. I 100% know. So if we had to assign a metric, right? So I know the book answer, right? Where I would say past So 12, 15, 17, 20 yards, practical accuracy kind of, if you were to measure it, you're reacting to every single sight picture. We would expect split times that are 0.3, 3/10 and above. Anything faster than 3/10, I think we start getting into predictive.
Correct. Yeah.
Regardless of what you can articulate. So 3/10 and above. Now, in terms of an accuracy standard, I know when I shoot practical accuracy, it's 100% alpha. Because you're shooting your vision. You're shooting when the acceptable level of confirmation, the acceptable aiming scheme is there, you pull the trigger. So the accuracy standard has to be 100%. Do you agree with that or disagree with that?
I do. No, I do. And I actually tell people, like, I don't even give a fuck about the A zone, because I'm training you, or you should be training yourself to look at a small spot, a coin-sized spot on the target. So if we're doing practical accuracy 5, 7, 10, 15 yards with the guns that people are using for competition, it's like, yeah, of course you can hit the A zone. I want your vision driven to a small spot where you're really shooting with a desire to hit a spot the size of a coin.
So it's funny too, because we've separated on this, right? Where we're gonna explore this in Anaheim, because the way that I went was I lead with predictive stuff, and
yeah, I like that.
And you're looking towards, group shooting, practical, and building into predictive. Like, and it's funny because you're the one that got me into that. Like, when we trained together, you're like, I'm going to kick your ass in the deep end, and then I'm going to teach you how to swim.
Right. So I like the way you do it. I do group shooting, just especially in open enrollment classes, just like essentially to make sure people's guns are zeroed, because you don't know, you might have some fucked up people in there. But I just had this conversation with, Andreas. I'm at his place. We just had this conversation. He's like, hey, a lot of people can't do doubles in my fundamentals classes I'm doing, because they're not at that level. And doubles is too much. So I'm just like, I don't do too much doubles. We're just doing practical accuracy. And what I found is that even guys that are struggling on practical accuracy, just that sight press, you have them rip, those fast pairs, and they learn something about recoil control. They learn how the gun's behaving as you force them to do that.
So isn't that where, when Andreas is saying guys can't do doubles,
right? I'm pushing them. I'm like, no, dude, even if they can't do it, they're going to learn. Have them do it.
What I hear is too, like, Andreas as an instructor, like, you're outcome focused, not process focused. Fuck the target. Like, that's what he wants. They can't do doubles. What do you mean? They can't pull the trigger as fast as they can? No, you can't get the result you want. But there's something, move them closer to the targets. And what they're going to learn in terms of running that trigger hard is all of the things that the practical and tactical guys all need, right? You think of it like, in terms of, I don't care what your best strategy for a match is, or your strategy for CCW engagement or law enforcement guys. When you're put in that context, whether the competitive, defensive, offensive, you're going to pull the trigger one way. You're going to get excited on the practical side because you're like, I want to be fast. I just watched this motherfucker do pop, pop, pop. Like, if you're shooting down at you're in Atlanta, right? Grand River or Big River?
South River Gun Club, or
South
River
River.
Bend, or Cherokee. Many interesting clubs around here.
Right, but tons of GMs squirting bullets, right? Very fast, very accurate. And a new shooter comes up, and he's emulating that, right? Where the defensive guy is, the situation contextually is, get you excited. The gun comes out, you pull the trigger one way. The LE guy reacts to a situation, goes on the offense, he pulls the trigger one way. It's all the same fucking way. It goes back to, how fast are you pulling the trigger? Well, you're pulling it as fast as you can. Doubles.
Yes.
Conversation's over. Doubles. Like, what the fuck?
The example I like is I've seen Olympic swimmers. You know, I'm not an Olympic swimmer, obviously, but I've seen some footage. They have this machine that like pulls them through the water like 30 miles an hour, so they just can feel the water going by their body, and they can kind of,
Yes.
you know, they can just experience it, you know. And it's doubles is kind of the same. It's like, no, just shoot the fucking gun really fast in a controlled environment, a safe way, all that, you know, gay shit, of course. But you can feel what's happening, and you're going to learn from that. It's not
Dude,
about the outcome.
in the tactical world, you driving training, you do that. You go to any driving course, right? I've been in the passenger seat of a bunch of Corvettes and everything with race car drivers. The first thing they do is they take you on a lap or two where they're driving to inoculate you, to show you, hey, this is what it's like. It's the same thing. It's like getting pulled through the water at 30 miles an hour. Now, the work in the training side of it is you got to figure out how to pull yourself through the water at 30 miles an hour.
Yes, but it's a valuable experience.
Yeah, I agree. It's insanely valuable.